money back because I was like, guys, this isn't worth your time. It's not worth my time. I'm going to give you a program for free. But then here's the thing.
That's goodwill.
That's
I didn't know about that story.
Yeah. So anyhow, I totally failed. And I was like at my lowest point. I was like, do I have to go back to my job? Do I have to go back to those people that said I shouldn't leave the corporate world and say that you were right? And before I did that, I looked at the greats. I looked at Tony Robbins, Brendan Burchard, Grant Cardone, other people that I was following. What did they do throughout their career? What was that thing that accelerated their process? And the big differentiator was a book. So I put my own book together there in the next couple months, launched it, and I took that same course.
It was 10 times easier.
Oh, yeah.
So with the right roadmap, and if you just focus on chapter at a time, it's simple. People overcomplicate it.
Yep.
You've written a book. Was it that difficult?
No, it was way easy. Everybody talked about it being like this bloodbath, this painful process.
Headache
and that may be the case if you have a traditional publisher telling you what to do. But you and I both self-published our books and turned that into hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. So
what's this money when you have this money? It's like money's money. My biggest excitement right now, and what I was explaining to you this morning, and what we've talked about is creating real success stories and game changers. It does nothing sitting here keeping all this inside me. And a lot of people say, man, you're giving away too much free value. Why don't you charge a ton for it? And it's like, yeah, I could, and I have some things I charge for. But the reality is I just want to give as much as possible and have the right people catch on, and I want to create a prodigy and success stories. Ryan's focus right now, honestly, is creating the next Mark Zuckerberg, finding him. My focus is creating the next success story, helping you write a book and helping you make sure that you not only get the good book out, but you play your part to shift this culture. That's a number one focus for me and him, and why we do these things is to find the next game changer, multiple game changers that not only want to write a book and change the world, that sounds so corny, I don't even want to say that, change the world, but help shift this culture. If you have an influence of 100 people in your area, in your town, and we help you and you help them, we just helped indirectly 100 more people. And if we're going to change the game, we have to do this a lot more. So that's the focus. And I don't know if you put on, and they can apply to work with us and have us help them with making a book. If they apply, I have no clue what the website is.
No, if you guys are interested in taking your brand to the next level, doing what Peter's done, you can apply to work with us. We take the applications very, very seriously.
It's not for everybody.
We don't let everybody in. We are looking for those who want to make a change in the world, who want to really build an awesome, awesome business. We've got so many success stories with our other programs, with our Inner Circle, with our Game Changers, with 6 months to six figures. What we're looking to do is to create a lot more authors, because with my Epic Launch business, we've moved 1.7 million books now, 200,000 of which are Peter's books. But we're looking to take that to the next level. So we're looking for people who want to be a part of that. So if that's you,
and you know if it's you or not.
I mean, yeah. You can go to the6figureauthor.com/yes. That's the six-figure author.
What's the shorter websites?
6figauthor.com/yes. So type that in. It takes 3 minutes. It's free to apply. We'll review your application personally.
If someone could take responsibility and type it in for us so people could see it, 6figauthor, 6 is in the number 6.com/yes. And if you have that hunger to write a book and you want kind of some shortcuts, we'll help you.
So here's the deal. Here's what we want. We want to, like, when people come into our elite programs, they're part of the family. What we want to be doing is talking with you a couple months from now or a couple years from now, talking about the success story that you've created, the impact that you've made in the world, the revenue, the reach that you have, right? Just over 2.5 years ago, almost on the dot, guess who I talked to about doing that? This guy. You know what's happened with him the last 2.5 years? Some insane things. You've impacted millions of lives. Absolutely amazing. So if you guys want to impact millions of lives, you can do the same thing. What we've found through
what you said earlier? You said you want to create the next Peter Voogd. I'm like, I don't know.
That's honestly what we want to
create.
Tough
to do.
Like, we want to create
in
more
a humble
Peter
way.
Voogds. Like, that's absolutely
funny.
amazing what you've done, right? So if that's you, go to the6figureauthor.com/yes, or for those that want the short link. Good job, Jared. Thank you. 6figauthor.com/yes. So anyhow,
our focus is value. Let's get
into questions. All right. So we've got a couple that came in, but guys, no matter if you're watching on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live, somewhere else, go ahead and type in your questions, because we have our team kind of compiling.
We've gotten this twice in here, and we've gotten it on the YouTube, so I'm going to answer it real quick.
Okay.
And I don't know if you got this too. Where do you see brands messing up?
Oh, yeah. Let's start there.
So there's a couple things in my observation where I see a lot of brands messing up when they start, or brands that have been around for a while and they're wondering why they have no traction and why they're messing up even if they've been around for 5 or 10 years. First is the wrong intentions. I'm telling you, we were on a call yesterday with Ryan, and he says when he's around Dan Gilbert, who's the owner of the Cavs, he's worth $6 billion. You could look it up. Anytime someone brings up money, he doesn't let him talk about it. He said, don't bring up money, bring up value. And I was like, wow, that's powerful. So if Ryan's like, hey, let's make an extra billion together, he goes, don't bring that up. How are we going to create another $1 billion of value? That's the intention. Your intention cannot be to get in entrepreneurship just to make money. You can't do it. You have to have the right intentions with your brand to be a long-term focus, to where if you got $1 million tomorrow, would you just retire and go to an island, or would you actually continue doing what you're doing? If I got $100 million wired to my account tomorrow, very few things would change in my life. And that's the right intention. So first, it's the wrong intention. They're getting into it to make quick money, or they want to scam people, or they don't have the long-term focus. Second, they're asking something without giving in return first. So they're asking for someone's time, they're asking for feedback, they're asking for money without actually helping that person consistently before that, or they create something they think people want versus what they actually want. And like I said earlier, the problem is, Austin, I see, is the likelihood of someone responding to what you do because you think or you assume they want it is so small. That's why you have to survey and research and really dive in. I train so many millennials coming up in direct sales. I trained thousands, and I saw the common themes. I saw the problems. I saw what was frustrating them. So I wanted to create something that solved the problem, and it was based on all this observation, not me guessing and hoping. I just see brands, and they are too spread. They're so multi-focused that they're becoming average in a lot of things versus exceptional at one thing. And they try to relate to everybody. And I ask them, who's your brand for? Oh, anybody that, no, if you start with anybody, you're screwed. If you try and be for anybody, you'll be for nobody. So those are the 3 or 4 problems I see the most, is they're not niched down to who they really want to help. They have the wrong intentions. They're asking for things without giving value, and they're too multi-focused. They're on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or I've seen this. They create so much content consistently without focusing on marketing it.
Right.
Or they'll release 10 articles, and each article will have 10 views, when they should have released 1 article, went all in on marketing and got that article to 1,000 views, and then waited till that article got some traction and shares, then created another one. That's what I've seen. So those are, I mean, there's more errors, but those are the main ones.
And talking about marketing, this wasn't a question, but I used to be afraid of marketing. And then when I created a book, I was proud to market it. Why? Because it's super cheap. It gives a ton of value. It's a great excuse. Like, people are like used to getting exposed to books and whatnot. Like, on down the list, I was giving a ton of value. I believed in my message. I knew that I was serving people. So getting your book out there is like the centerpiece for your business in the way that we look at it. But one question that came in, I think this was from Ryan yesterday. He says, how do you balance personal relationships with relentlessly being committed to success? Some of the people around Ryan, his girlfriend, his family, like, weren't necessarily in the ride with him. They didn't necessarily believe in his vision. They thought he was working too much. How do you balance all that?
Yeah, I don't like the word balance. First, there's 2 issues here. Either you're not explaining the vision the right way, or you have the wrong girlfriend. It's just that or that. It's not like, well, there's all this, that's just bottom line. You have to be really good at explaining the vision of why you're doing what you're doing and how it's going to help in the long run, and how you don't want the lifestyle that someone else had or your parents had. You want to create an amazing lifestyle, so you need her support because she means the world to you. Maybe you're not explaining the vision, or you're just the wrong girlfriend. And I just did a post on Instagram, and it said, the most important decision you'll ever make in life, more than any business decision, is who you choose to spend the rest of your life with. That's it. So the bottom line is, make sure you share the vision the right way, or find another girlfriend. That's just the answer. Second, balance-wise, there's no balance when it comes to entrepreneurship. If you go follow Tim Sykes, who's a friend of mine, or Ryan Blair, or Tim Ferriss, or Tony Robbins, or Elon Musk, or Richard Branson, if you go follow them for a couple days, 0 balance. 0. It's more about harmonizing. If you want balance, and I want to get this straight because people do talk about balance and I get annoyed because it's not accurate. It sounds good to say, oh, you need a balance, but it's not accurate in entrepreneurship. If you want to do a cool 6 figures, you can probably balance your life perfectly, but I'm guessing you guys on here want to crush and get to that 7 figures and build a great lifestyle. So it's more about harmonizing things together, harmonizing your relationships, making sure they flow and they are in line with your vision, and aligning yourself with people who align with you. I think of balance when I think of a 9 to 5 because, or your corporate job. You probably had balance because right when you were done with work, you're like, oh, done.
Yep.
Don't talk about it when they get home. I mean, that's balance, but in entrepreneurship, when I'm done hustling, I actually want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
It's because I love what I do. And if you have to get something done, you might have to stay up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning and wake up early to get it done, because entrepreneurs focus on finishing their tasks and completing them versus just doing it till they feel like it. So I don't think there's any balance.
And that's the best thing about creating your own stuff and writing books and building your online brand and business is you get to choose the topic. Mm-hmm. Do something that you absolutely get fired up so that you don't want to turn it off.
Yeah,
that's
that's
where
huge.
I'm at. Like, you all go through different seasons of your life, and like, I don't want to turn it off. I want to work 17 hours a day. Like, it's crazy, and I've never had that passion before until really the last probably 6 months in my life. When I was in the corporate world, like, no way did I want to work all the time.
I'm getting more corporate people than ever this last year that want to apply and stuff to the academy and some other places. Like, I'm making 200, I'm making 300. Peter, if I could just, but I'm not seeing my daughter, I'm not seeing my son. Yep. They tell me if I could just make like 60 in entrepreneurship on my terms, I would trade that for 300K corporate. It's crazy. I'm getting that more than ever because people are realizing the possibilities. Yep. And one thing you just brought up that I want to share is you want to make sure that what you create in entrepreneurship and what you think about is going to keep you engaged and fascinated 3, 4, 5 years down the road. I see a lot of entrepreneurs, especially millennials, jump into something and they don't fully think it through, what the upside is it scalable, is it gonna keep you engaged for 5 years? Then they go all in on something and they put all this time and energy into it for a year, then they're like, oh, this isn't for me.
Right.
Then they waste a whole year when they could have been building something and building momentum and progressing towards something they could eventually sell or exit for 10 million or whatever.
Yep.
So I would work on harmonizing your relationships. And when you say, someone asked about key relationships when you're relentless, this is huge. Find the right people that are also relentless, that don't need a lot of attention. You don't want high maintenance relationships. I got rid of all the toxic relationships and all the high maintenance relationships because it's super frustrating where, hey, I haven't talked to you for 2 weeks. What's going on, man?
Right,
you want people that if you don't talk to them for 6 months, they understand you're hustling hard and you have a vision, and it's like you just saw them 2 days ago.
Yeah.
That's the relationships you want. And for me, honestly, I try, now that I'm not as busy as I used to be because I have a great team, great systems in place, and you guys see I'm traveling all the time. But I try to stay in contact, and it's called net time, no extra time. When I'm driving Austin, when I'm at the airport, I like to call people that I haven't talked to for a while. Yep. Like, I'll call Gerard Adams, like, hey man, I haven't talked to you for a couple weeks, what's going on, man, miss you, dude. Or Joel Brown, or whether it's like, you know what I mean, someone that I haven't talked to for a couple weeks. And I'll connect with them and just see how they're doing. Hey, is there anything I could do to add value or help you out? You know what I mean? So it's connecting when you can. Now, when I was focusing on networking, I had in my schedule every week, and I still do, who am I gonna reach out to this week that can help me cut my learning curve in half, that can speed up my process? That's different than personal friendships, but I've done both, where I've scheduled time in my schedule for my friends, and I've also had time where I haven't talked to them for a couple months, but I made sure they're the right person, so when I did talk to them, they weren't like, dude, you've been too busy for me? Right. It's the stupidest comment ever from a friend. Yeah, I've been hustling while you're laying your ass down eating Cheetos watching Netflix, right?
And here's the thing I found about time and balance and all this stuff is, like, the sooner that you start protecting your own time, the sooner other people will as well. The sooner that you start valuing your own time.
If you don't know what your time is worth, no one else will.
You need to. And now even my family, my best friends, they know that, like, I'm going to communicate with them a little bit less, but that way when I do, I'm 100% with them, right? And they're all aligned with my vision. If they're not, see ya.
How many walks to the beach do you take a day?
At least 3. I love it. I get some clarity. I do what you talk about. No extra time.
If
right?
I call him, he doesn't answer. I know he doesn't have his phone and he's walking to the beach.
Exactly.
It's funny.
Right.
Let's get
We
more
got great questions coming in here on YouTube Live, on Facebook Live. David Dykstra. David, I hope I'm saying your name, your last name right. What is the tipping point on Amazon's algorithm so they take notice and your book sales and stuff takes off? Well, that's
That is
kind of
all
my game.
you.
That is
I don't
my
have
game.
no clue what that even means,
So,
to be honest.
all right, guys. So for those of you that don't know, my company is called Epic Launch. We work with authors and help them launch and leverage their book. My background is in engineering and investing, so I love geeking out about algorithms and how to really have stuff go viral. Your book, Peter, we launched it strategically on both Amazon and then 30 days later on Audible. It's been on the homepage of Audible
I don't know how you did that.
almost since then. We've made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars by doing one thing: getting Amazon's algorithm behind us. That's the secret to our success with all of our launches.
Let me show him. So just Audible, just with 6M, 6F in the last, I don't know if this is 12 months. So there's been, you guys can even see it live. There's been 50,603 Audible sales.
Wow.
51, almost 51,000. And I remember looking at a best-selling author's Audible after like 3 or 4 years, and it was 12,000. They were happy.
Yeah.
This is 50-something thousand. I haven't looked at this for a while.
50-something.
But that's why, because the algorithm.
And like we're gonna go on a tangent here if we talk about Audible or lower and Amazon alone. But some of those people are worth $50 per person to Peter because Audible pays a royalty. So anyhow, let's talk about the algorithm. What you want to do is to compress a lot of effort into a short period of time. So what we do is we have a launch date set, and you want to have relaunches set as well. So this is applicable for you if you already have your book out there. So set that date. Let's say it's 60 days from now. Let's say it's mid-July. And what you're doing is for 30 days or more, just giving value, leading up to that, building some buzz, building some anticipation. If you look at blockbuster movies, what do? They spend most of their budget, most of their marketing starting years before it goes out. You go to a movie, you see the trailers, oh, this movie's coming out in 2018 or 2019 even sometimes, right? They're planting that seed, they're building buzz, they're leading you towards this big launch. Why? They want to have this big launch so that the media starts to take it off. And from there, they don't have to do anything. They don't have to spend any money on marketing. Most movies don't make any money though because they don't get past that tipping point. Same thing with your book. So do the whole pre-launch process. This is one of the most important things that you can do. Most people don't do it. They get the book done and they're so excited because it took them a couple months to get that book done that they just get it out there. And the book goes up and it goes down just as quickly. No, you want to be very strategic about it. What we usually have is like a 3-day launch. We're really interested in about a 7-day launch, but 3 days is where we're trying to go viral within that particular niche. So we're everywhere that our audience is, whether it be email, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn even, retargeting. We want to be everywhere for a short period of time.
Before you continue, what do you, and just be very transparent, what have you charged people for some of this same information?
$18,000 is
Okay, so
what
you
our
guys
client
please
said.
pay attention. This is stuff that people gladly, and he's been turning down people because he's focused on helping with you guys that are doing the applications. I have people that contact me, hey, Austin turned me down, and they're mad.
Yeah.
So pay attention because this is stuff I don't even know that this is intriguing to me.
Yeah.
And this is the real deal stuff if you're wanting to write a book ever.
So you want multiple, not only streams of income, which we'll probably talk about at some point in time, but you want multiple entry sources to all go to Amazon at the same time. Here's a marketing tip, is you've done your job from a marketing perspective if you've pissed some people off. Most people are afraid to get their message out there in a big way, but at least during a short period of time, you want to, like I said, go viral within your niche. Here's what happened with me. I had an email list of 440 people. 440 people before my book launch, okay? That's, in online marketing terms, that's zero. That's nothing. But here's what happened, is my team and I, which was my buddy who I was helping out, my assistant who's in the Philippines, Sugar, she's awesome, she's a rock star, she's my longest employee, just us three. We were hustling hard, we were doing this pre-launch process, we were given a value, building some buzz, we led towards the launch, and on the launch, everything went live. Our email blasts, our paid promotions, we got some ad buys that we paid a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there. We had some JV partners mail out about the book. We were on every single social media channel that our audience was at, which is basically just Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook at the time. So just 3. You don't need to be on 10 social media channels. But all this happened in a compressed time where my book went up to the top. I got number 1 in one category. Amazon started to promote it in related purchases. Within 36 hours, I had over 32,000 downloads. 32,000. How? Because again, I led up towards this. I spiked Amazon's algorithm. I got a lot of reviews, a lot of downloads all at the same time so that my free Kindle just took off like a rocket. All right? Guess who noticed? Business Insider, Forbes, Yahoo Finance, AOL, the Washington Post, the biggest online outlets for my niche, which was personal finance at the time, noticed. And before my book launched, they weren't responding to my emails. I wanted to get some exposure and whatnot. But after, guess what? They were coming to me. Now I'm a contributor for those people. Yahoo Finance is the biggest business website in the world. Business Insider is like 4th or something, right? So compress a lot of effort into a short period of time. But the cool thing is you don't need a team to do this. Social media tools such as Buffer, emails, you can kind of get ready to go. But if you focus on having multiple outlets where wherever your audience is, whether they're on YouTube, be on YouTube. If they're in a forum, then go to that forum, whatever it is for your particular niche. Next thing is buy some media ads. There's different book promotions, but also look at JV partners that have your audience. Pay them a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there. Spend $1,000. You don't need to spend much more than that. Next thing is, most importantly, the most important piece of Amazon's algorithm, David, is reviews. So have a plan for getting reviews. I started, again, at least 30 days in advance. I had a spreadsheet of all the people that I wanted to leave me a review, okay? By following up with them, by having that focus, by getting their verbal commitment, and there's a lot of strategies that I'll walk you through, I got over 100 reviews in the first 3 days. That was a huge piece for having it go viral. So I just shared with you a lot. Focus on reviews, get some media buys, have everything automated and ready to go, give a lot of value beforehand, spike it up, you're off to the races.
You got to write a good book first. But huge.
You do have to write a good book. And take some time on that. And the best way that you can write a good book is by getting some feedback on that.
Yeah.
Like sharing your book with other people. Like you shared with me your book. I didn't even have the business epic launch yet. And we got on the phone and you told me a little bit about it. I was like, that sounds pretty interesting. Send it over to me. And I read it. I gave you some feedback. We made it even better. And I was like, this book is great. And that's part of the huge reason. Oh, another thing about the book is make a big promise. Think of the 4-hour work week. Think of the 6-figure author. Think of 6 months to 6 figures. Think of I will teach you to be rich. Like, those are big promises, right? Don't be afraid to make a big promise, but most importantly, you've got to back it up, all right?
Huge. I mean, I learned some stuff. Some of the things that you do for me, I don't even know what you do, so
No.
it's good to hear that.
Yeah.
I want to answer this because Tony, it's someone I connected with. So Tony, if you're still watching, he says, are digital marketing agencies becoming the next pizza shop where there's one on every corner? It seems like everyone and their cousin is starting a digital marketing agency and flooding the market. Answer is yes. I've seen everyone want to start one. But that usually happens with things that are extremely needed and valuable. The reason they're coming up is because there's more than hundreds of millions of people wanting to actually become a brand and get marketed and learn how to become differentiated. But the same thing always happens in business. The cream rises to the top. Yep. So even if you have a digital marketing agency, it doesn't matter. If you can differentiate yourself and you can figure out what actually makes your business unique, and you have specific key indicators that are going to separate you from the competition, and you start giving free content and value and start picking some businesses that you believe in that are going to blow up, and you give them free value to get testimonials, to get a promotion, that's how you're going to go to the next level.
Yep.
I've helped brands and companies where they've reached out to me and I'm like, hey, honestly, prove yourself. Show me your results. They've gotten results from me for free, and now I pay them consistently, and I've helped get them a ton of clients. I have a guy that I'm paying right now that worked for free for about a month and a half, but he proved himself. His last 4 clients were because of me. And I don't say that to brag. I just say that if you're a new digital marketing agency, you want to start giving away some of your best stuff to some people that can promote you so you can exponentially grow that way. So to answer your question, Tony, yes, they are becoming the next pizza shop on the next corner, and everyone's doing it, but it doesn't matter if everyone's doing it. The cream always rises to the top when you differentiate yourself the right way. And that's just how it goes. So whether there's 1 million people starting them every day or 100, it doesn't matter. The same 5% are going to rise to the top regardless, because they understand what real business is, how to add extra value, and how to make sure they articulate people's problems they're solving in a way that no one else can.
Yep. That's it. Guys, keep the questions coming in. Jamie had a question about the link to apply, if this is for you. 6figauthor.com/yes.
Let me write it in there.
Yeah, it's the number 6, F-I-G, fig, author.com/yes. Go ahead and check it out there. Next is a question from Chris. Chris Snyder, what's up, Chris? He says, when building a team, what do you look for in others? Because hopefully, down the line, you guys will build a team so that you can live your dream lifestyle. Like the lifestyle that you see Peter building and living, guess what? That's real life. I know this firsthand. I talk to him every single day, all right? Building a lifestyle.
You're mad sometimes when I'm out of the country and you can't get a hold of me.
Yeah. But no, talk a little bit about how to build a team, what you look for in others.
Yeah, so first, you have to make sure you know exactly who you're looking for, what the role is, and there's 3 keys. This is a multifaceted question. First, there's traits, but then there's how to actually bring the best out of somebody and make sure they're the right person long term. So there's differences. So first, what I look for is someone that's hungry, first of all, someone that's coachable, someone that has proven results, and someone that's really not afraid to fail. And for me, it's someone that has proven themselves. We base nothing off words anymore. And I've even had to tell you this sometimes when you had a couple years ago, you said had a bad hire, but they sounded perfect in the interview. They're like, I'm this and this.
Yeah.
We base nothing off words because words are so cheap these days. A lot of people talk more to back up, to make up for their lack of action, right? So I make sure I make them jump through loops, and I make sure that I make them prove themselves. And I make sure I see their proven results, and I ask them what makes you different, and what are some things that you're proud of that separate you from the majority. That's one. And I make sure they're coachable. I make sure they're not afraid. I make sure they're confident in themselves. And it depends on what you're hiring for. This is the answer. My advice would be hire very slow and fire fast. If you're looking for a sales professional, you don't want to hire someone that you have to train for 3 weeks. You want to hire someone that already is good at sales, where they can fit into your system, and you can let them go and be flexible. Because here's the cool thing. If you hire an A player and you don't train them and your training is horrible, they will crush it. Mm-hmm. If you have the perfect training, but you hire a C player, they're going to be a C player. So it doesn't matter how good your training is. That's why I've tried to focus on hiring the right people that might be tougher to get, but whether my training is good or bad, they're going to crush it because they have that hunger and they're going to find a way to make things happen. And the best places to find people, one is through your network that you already have. Whether it's looking on social media, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, asking the people around you, going through your phone, connecting with people that you already have access to. And then social media as far as just posting on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and writing people, hey, I'm looking for an executive assistant position. Here's the exact position. Give very proper expectations and always make them jump through loops. So for me, when I used to hire receptionists and hire executive assistants and hire PR personnel in some other places, I had a time where I had 200 sales professionals and I had 15 or 16 W-2 employees. That's not easy. If you find the right people and you have systems in place, it is easy. Yep. So I said at the bottom of the ad, I said, make sure you respond to this ad and give me 1 paragraph, not 2, not 3, 1 paragraph of why you're qualified, why I should hire you, and what makes you different. It blows my mind. It's funny now, I understand society, so it's not as humorous as it was then. 60% didn't even respond. Because they were just spamming a bunch of ads, like copying and pasting their resume. So we didn't even look at the people who didn't respond, because if they can't even take a simple action or follow directions, how are they going to help you build your empire? It's impossible, right? So make them jump through loops. Now, when you do hire, you need to have proper expectations where you give them exactly what's going to happen. When I was in direct sales, and we had people that were getting rejected and going through a lot of things they'd never gone through, as far as getting told no and making their own schedule and being self-disciplined, I would tell people, most of my competitors would say, oh, you're going to make a lot of money, you're going to crush it, this is an amazing experience, you're going to make 100 grand in 6 months. And when they promote something that looks easy and then they go through something and it's hard, then you have incongruent expectations and they don't trust you as a leader and they quit. So I would say, and I've never done network marketing, but I have a lot of people reach out and ask me about network marketing. And I know some of you guys watching are in network marketing. I see the same thing with leaders. They promote, oh, this is an amazing opportunity. You're going to retire your mom and retire your dad and crush it, and you're going to make a ton of money. They don't say, hey, it's going to be challenging. Like, you're going to feel like, I used to say, you're going to feel like quitting in your first couple weeks because it's different. You're going to get past your comfort zone. But I promise you, Nancy, when you get past this, you're going to start experiencing a lifestyle and a confidence that very few people have. And most people, when they go through a challenge, they quit. Now they're working at Jamba Juice in the mall, right? I don't want you to work at Jamba Juice in the mall. Just being very blunt. Nothing against people working at Jamba Juice in the mall, but the reality is I know you guys want more. So I would give proper expectations. And then when I gave proper expectations, the second part is accountability. I would give them accountability to check back with me, so I made sure they were progressing. And then I'd give them feedback. So expectations, accountability, and give them feedback on how they're doing, and teach them how to find the answer. Do not give them the answer every time, because then they're going to be depending on you, and they're going to be like a kid on Christmas, like, hey, I need more information. I used to teach my managers, my leaders, my receptionists, hey, if you need to answer, here's how I would find it. And if they bring you a problem, I always said, hey, don't bring me problems. Anyone can bring me problems. Bring me 2 solutions to the problem. I wanted to teach them how to be self-sufficient. Yep. That's how you create a self-sufficient, self-sustained team that can spark their own fire. Long-winded answer, but I look for, I mean, it depends on the position. I could go
so
off
much
for days.
gold. That is so much gold, guys. I hope you were taking some notes there, because that's through working with dozens and dozens and dozens of employees and failing forward over the past decade. So that's gold, guys. The other thing I would add to that is definitely, and Peter mentioned it, is have some type of trial period. We always have either a 30-day or 60-day or even 90-day trial period before we go to bed together, because at the end of the day, everybody can talk a good game in an interview, but you'll know within a couple days, usually we know within 24 hours, if somebody's going to be a great fit. So definitely do a trial period with any of your hires. Now, I saw a couple questions come in about bonuses. Here's one thing I want to share with you. So I was talking with Brendan Burchard over, it's probably 6 months ago now, and I asked him bluntly, I said, if you were starting out, if you wanted to build this online brand and business and influence a lot of people, if you were just starting out, what's that first thing that you would do? And he didn't know like that I was doing the book stuff at the time, and he answered the question, I would write a book. But not only write a book, here's what I would do. He would focus on what he does now, which is free plus shipping. If you guys see any big experts doing free plus shipping, he would do videos and do a big pre-launch process. He would add bonuses for people buying the book, all right? I saw a couple questions from David and other people about bonuses. Here's what you want to do. This is what we've done with Peter's books as well. Is not only do you want to sell your book, but you want to incentivize people that if they do buy your book, send and show their receipt, and they're going to get some extra free training. Do a video series. You can whip out your iPhone, give a free video training series, and add that as a book bonus. This is going to 10x your book sales. I guarantee it. 10x. All right. This is what the biggest. I mean, Brendan Burchard is somebody who probably makes over $100 million. Right. He learned this through trial and tribulation about what it really takes. His career took off with his first book. He leveraged that to get on the stage with Jack from Chicken Soup for the Soul and other people, and just took off from there. He says if he was starting out, if he wanted to build that brand and business, he would get the book done. He would focus on giving bonuses with that book. He would focusing on leveraging video, which we're doing now through YouTube Live and Facebook Live, accessing a lot of people, getting them to know us, our lifestyle, our personalities, our behind the scenes stuff, right? Leverage those 3 things and you're going to be off to the races. So bonuses, do not forget with your guys' books, add bonuses in. I can share with you a lot of ideas of what that looks like, but the next books that we're launching together definitely going to include some crazy bonus packages to move a lot of books, and also incentivize people to not only buy 1, but buy 10 for their team or for their family, to buy 100 for their corporation or whatever it is, right? So definitely do those things. That's kind of a next level strategy, but first get the book done. Let's talk about how you've gotten the book done, some strategies to get the book done pretty easily, because I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of authors now over the last couple years. And again, a big holdup for a lot of people is they've been thinking about this book for 3 years now or 5 years now, but you've got to get that book done. You've got to do it. Simple ways to make that happen.
First of all, thinkers get confused, doers make money. People who do both make the millions. So for a book, the number one thing I would tell you, number one, sell yourself on why you want to write a book.
So
Sell
important.
yourself where there's no other option for you to write the book. For me, it took me a little longer, but it was pretty simple. But whenever I got off track, I would sell myself like, no, you know, even if I don't feel like it, I need to write this book because a lot of people right now need this blueprint. They need this framework. And I focused on the end result of having it done to where people were emailing me and I was visualizing getting the emails from people like, hey, you changed. And it's gotten as far now where I've had people say that they didn't commit suicide because of my book, right? It's been that deep, which is amazing and it humbles me and it gives me goosebumps. But the reality is, sell yourself on why you need a book, first of all. And I'll tell you this, you should always, it's called the 80-20 Peter Voogd rule. You should always be working 20% of your time on a legacy item that you might not get paid for now, but you'll get paid for in the future. You do that enough, you're gonna eventually make money 10 different ways, right? And then 80% of your time should be spent on, obviously, profit-producing activities, low-hanging fruit. Make sure you have your systems in place where you're making money, because your job, you need to make money. That's just, and I'll tell you this right now, I'm looking you dead in the eye. There's a lot of people making millions, and there's so big of a money transfer right now, it's unbelievable. I've seen people make 50 million in one deal. I've heard Ryan Blair talk about making hundreds of millions, but then I've seen people dead broke. There's no shortage of money right now. There's no shortage of money. There's just a shortage of people not willing to change or invest in themselves or be coachable, or not willing to understand how to become more valuable. So if you're sitting there and you don't have the money you want, you better adapt and adjust and really get around people that are making money and start becoming coachable and really understanding how to become more valuable. So my book, first step, sell yourself. Why do you want to write a book? Because if you have 1% doubt in your mind that you shouldn't write a book, you're gonna take the doubt every time. So if you have 99% confidence you're gonna write a book, but there's 1% doubt, you won't take the 99%, you'll take the 1%. Sadly, that's just human beings. So 1% doubt, you're out. Don't get any doubt. Second is you got to figure out who it's for. You got to figure out why you're writing it. And then honestly, for me, I didn't worry about the title or all the chapters. I just wrote one chapter at a time. And I focused on, okay, here's everything I want in my book. I did a brainstorming session, and then I just wrote one chapter. And I had deadline. So I was like, okay, this chapter on circle of influence needs to be done in the next week. Yep. And I didn't if I focused on everything I had to do, I would never have got it done. Yep. So that's simplified. Sell yourself, come up with the grand, like the general theme of who the book's for, what it's gonna be about, and then one chapter at a time, and then get a great editing team. And really, it'll adapt and adjust and evolve from there.
Yep. And that last point is a huge thing that most people do. He said, get a great editing team. Yeah. Like if you go through the process yourself and you want to make it perfect, your book's going to take months longer than it otherwise should. Get it to a point where it's good enough, then hand it off to somebody that's great at this. Focus on your greatness, whatever your greatness is. Maybe your greatness is coaching. Maybe it's building your business. Maybe it's social media. Whatever it is that you really want to do and you're great at, focus on that. Do the minimum amount of stuff on everything else and hire people. I hired an editor. I paid him like $30 an hour, I think, which was well worth it to have him take my book, which wasn't good. I'm an engineer. I'm not a great writer. I hired somebody who was much better, a couple $1,000. That was by far the most expensive piece of writing my self-published book, was hiring him, but man, it was just a game changer. Hire a proofreader for a couple $100 to make sure that literally your I's are dotted and T's are crossed and everything's good there. Hire professionally a cover designer, which you did as well. Very, very important. We want your book to not feel like a self-published book. And in today's age, you can make it feel like a New York quality book, which is what we've done, right? So focus on those couple things. But the other thing, there's amazing services out there, whether you can hire someone
these days.
Yeah.
There's a service for every single possible thing in earth to do.
Yeah, exactly. Whether it be direct transcription, like you talk in to Google Docs and it transcribes everything for you. Like if you're not a writer, if you're like me where you weren't a writer, just talk into something or record yourself and have somebody transcribe it and turn that into a book. We've used this strategy as well. talking into something, taking those audios and giving the framework for a book. Now here's what we talk about: residual income, which is different from working income. Working income, you get paid for your time, right? You put the work in once, you get paid once. Residual income is you put the work in once and you get paid over and over and over again, right? Well, what we want you to do is to be smart with your time, so that anytime you're putting in effort, which again, your time is worth a lot of money, right? Anytime, whether you're creating something, whether you're managing your team, everything that you do needs to be leveraged to much more than that, right? So what I'm saying is, if you create a blog post, what you need to do is turn that into a video, turn that into a podcast, turn that into a small piece of your book. So you're doing the work, you might as well get the most value out of it. Does that make sense?
Streamlining.
Streamline everything. We literally take one piece of content. We're going to take this piece of content and we're going to use it in 9 different ways. One piece of content. We haven't rehearsed for this. We didn't know all the questions that you guys were going to ask besides these 15 that I wrote down from yesterday, right? This is being turned into 9 pieces of content, 9 touch points, all right? Eventually it may be a book, right? So that's the stuff. Think a little bit differently. Take your time seriously. If you create content once, use it for a book. A lot of you already have blogs. You already have emails. Well, go back to that. Take your best stuff and put it in a book. And that brings up something else, which is a lot of people are afraid to give their best stuff, but do it. Why?
Well,
Peter taught me this. Why do you give away your best stuff? Because it challenges you to level up and create even better stuff. And that sharpens your saw. That gets you better. And that also impacts a lot of people. Ramit Sethi, he runs probably close to $100 million business. I know it's at least above 10 million. And what he said changed my business life. He said he gives 98% of his stuff for free. 98%. All right, most of us have kind of some limiting beliefs where we're afraid to give it all away. That was definitely me. That was definitely me. Think about giving your best stuff away for free. Think about giving 98% of your content for free. Guess what's going to come back to you? 100-fold that value. All right, 100-fold.
And it's like he said, you have to start leveraging technology. And what's cool about the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your time right now, if you're not at 6 figures, 80% of your week should be spent on profit-producing activities, adding value, connecting with clients, potential customers, getting out there, meeting people. 20% on legacy. Eventually, if you have the right systems in place and you do it correctly, you can spend 80% of your time on legacy stuff that you love doing and 20% on profit producing, and eventually 100% zero, where everything's leveraged and systemized. I can spend most of my time on legacy things like creating a mixtape, which I don't make a ton of money off, but I love doing it because it adds a lot of value and people love it. And it's a passion of mine.
And it's an asset.
It's an asset. And that's because I created so many systems and put so much value out there and have such a great team. So I would challenge you guys, and I just looked at your comment, Justin Weeks, who's watching. You have a book coming out. We're going to help you. I'm excited about that. That's going to be a killer book, so I'm pumped to get your book out there because I know it's going to be a game changer. Side note, you need to write down, Chris Ducker taught me this, write down right now things that you don't like doing, things you can't do, and things you shouldn't be doing. There's resources out there for you to delegate almost everything. Whether it's cooking, whether it's cleaning your house, laundry, copywriting, editing, there's VAs. I mean, it's amazing. And that was a big game changer for me back in the day, to realize one thing that helped me back in entrepreneurship at the beginning is I felt like I had to do everything. Like I had to edit, I had to come up with the website, I had to create this, and it caused me to not want to be an entrepreneur. But then I realized, wow, I could delegate almost everything except my strengths, and that gave me like exhilaration, right? And now I love teaching people how to do that and cutting their learning curve in half as well. I mean, by the way, 6figauthor.com/yes. If you want to apply and connect with me in Austin and have us kind of help you walk through your book, and even if they get on the phone with you and it might not be for them because it's not for a lot of people, you could still add some value. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
which is cool. So do you want to do some more questions?
Yeah, we got a couple more questions, but here's the thing about the 6-figure author is this is a program, but it's not just any program, guys. What we're doing and why we're taking applications is because we work so closely with each individual. We want not 20% success stories, not 40% success stories. Like, you know, most programs have 10% success stories. The reason why we take this so seriously is we want
Is that true?
100%.
10%?
Yes.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to get 100% success rate.
And how do we do that? We give
right
world-class training and systems with the right people, with the right accountability and support. I give people private email access to me. All right, I'm there to answer your questions. There's one of our students is going through a launch right now. She's a best-selling author as of yesterday. I was there emailing her back and forth, making sure that she was all good. Guys, I charge $3,000 for a month per month, and usually people stay on for at least 4 months. My service was $18,000 before we stopped. And anyhow, this is a small fraction of the price that I give you weekly access to me through not only emails where I'm there to support you, but also with our weekly mastermind calls where you're there connecting with other great authors and giving that guidance. So my point is, most programs will like say, hey, go read this book or go watch these videos and life will be good. We are talking about what we're talking about today, how it's a long-term game. All right, if you want to build what's going to become a 7-figure brand and business, you need to do more than 1 or 2 things. So I'm there to support you and guide you and hold you accountable and keep pushing you and answer your questions, because the next question that came in is from somebody who says, sometimes I feel defeated. How do you get past that? Well, you get past that by having a support network, by having a mentor, by having a coach. So we've taken our system that we've done and moved 1.7 million books, turn it into training so that you can do the same thing. And right now we're inviting some people, some extra special people to come and join the family and get that guidance, get that training, and be our next big success story. That's what we're getting out of this.
You know what? I should call him out, but I'm not gonna But there was a guy a while back that charges quite a bit that you guys probably know, and he said a while back, he said, Peter, never ever take who you mentor and coach, never take your clients or students' success personally. Teach them, and then if they don't take action, whatever. And something rubbed me wrong. I'm like, I want to take their success personal because I'm invested in them and I want to make sure they succeed. So it was totally, and he was over 45, 50, so it's a different mindset. But I'm like, I'm taking everyone's success personal because I feel like they're my prodigy or I'm helping them. I'm taking the success really personal if they don't succeed, unless it's someone that doesn't take any action, but that's why we have applications. So it's funny that I heard that a while back. It's just like, it makes sense in a term of like a business where you're not really in it for the people and you want to make money, but I take it personal sometimes because it's their success that I really am after. You know what I mean? So let's do another question.
Yeah, so this question goes along the lines of what I was just talking about. It says, I am building the foundations of my business. I am very much at the beginning stage. I just want some pointers and tips because at times I feel defeated and I can't continue. How do you handle that? Have you ever been there? Peter?
So first of all, you got to make sure your energy is top notch because that helps get past tough times. So energy is something that no one really talks about. So making sure you're eating right, making sure you're putting the right stuff in your mind, and making sure that every single person that's surrounding you in your corner believes in your vision, because sometimes subconsciously you're defeated because other people around you aren't succeeding at a high level or don't fully believe in your vision either. That's the first step, is making sure you kind of evaluate your circle of influence and make sure that the people you're around are super, super supportive of what you're doing. If not, you got to lower the time you spend with them. Second thing is make sure what you're doing is something you really, really, really enjoy and you love. And once again, I'll go back, you're sold on it. Yeah. It's something that's going to keep you engaged to where if it gets challenging, then you're going to push forward. Third thing that for me that helped when I'm defeated is I focus on my reasons and I focus on gratitude. When you're grateful, you can't be frustrated at the same time. It's impossible. So if I'm defeated, I focus on A, someone that's worse off than me. B, I focus on my reasons of why I'm doing it, because reasons come first, results come second. If your reasons are strong enough of why you're doing it, if the motivation and the reasons are there and they're genuine and they're compelling and they're really who you are, you're going to get past the challenges. So if you're defeated over something super little, either you don't love what you do enough or no one around you is supporting you. But you got to be a beast in entrepreneurship. I don't know what to tell you. If you're defeated pretty easy, you need to step up and level up and get around the right people and make sure that what you do is what you want to do long term. And that's it. It's just selling yourself on it, having the right reasons, understanding that stress is good sometimes. That's a big perspective shift. And when you're stressed and defeated, here's a big key. I used to think when I was stressed and I was frustrated, oh, relax and just journal. It might even be something you don't do or you do. I've talked about it, but I had a millionaire mentor that taught me when you're stressed, it's usually a lack of results. So don't go sit there and journal or sit there and read a book or sit there and do nothing. Hustle harder and smarter to where you get results, and that'll take care of that stress. Unless it's something that's not related to business, family issue, that's difficult, right? That's different. But if you're deflated because your business isn't crushing it, hustle harder, hustle smarter, elevate your influence, and just really level up. It's just a conversation you have to have with yourself, and you have to tell yourself, I need to spark my own fire. The more you need someone else to tell you what to do, the less money you'll make. The more you can spark your own fire and you don't need motivation, the more money you're gonna make. So most people making under 40K, they want A, security, B, they want someone else to tell them what to do. Everyone over 6 figures usually has their own motivation. So that's the first step. If you're devastated or defeated, you got to make sure you know how to spark your own fire and have your reasons so compelling and so mapped out that you can't even think about giving up.
Yep.
And that's it.
It's all about the mindset. Everything that you just shared there is back to the mindset. Like, it's a psychological game, right? Whether you're writing something, even in our days, like our day to day, like there's some super highs and then there's some super lows. But as an entrepreneur, just with that mindset, you're expecting these things, right? And you're ready for it. And you know what? All right, what am I gonna do? And this goes to Laura's question. Laura says, how do you get momentum and keep it going after you've had a setback? Well, whether this is on a day-to-day basis or a major setback, Laura, what you do is just get recentered and simplify. If you just get recentered and simplify, guess what? All you need to do is start to take one action. Start to take one action. Take everything else out. Do a brain dump of all the things that are on your plate and focus on one action. What's that going to have you do? It's going to have you get that stress and all that stuff out of your mind because you're into motion. Once you get into motion, you start to build momentum. Once you start to build momentum, opportunities come to you. The hardest thing to get in business is momentum. But once you get it going, it makes things more fun. It makes things easier. Like, I used to joke about, like, there's a good boys club. And for my first 9 months, I couldn't break into that good boys club. But once you do, they become JV partners. Like, all the same people promote the same stuff, right? It's once you get to that level, you open up these opportunities, right?
I think the 2 scariest things in life and business, momentum and lack of it. That's the 2 scariest things. I've seen people with no momentum, and it is tough to get that back. So what I would tell you, is it Courtney? Is
Laura.
What I would tell you is figure out what's killed your momentum in the past. Figure out what stopped your momentum. Is it you starting and stopping? Is it other people getting you distracted? Is it sleep? Maybe you're sleeping too much. Maybe you're basing things off feelings versus your standards. I don't know, but figure out what's killing your momentum. Maybe it's cell phone. Maybe it's notifications. One of the biggest ones for me in 2014 was notifications on my phone used to annoy me. They used to go off all the time. I just totally took all notifications off my phone.
Is that why you never answer my calls?
I don't answer anyone's calls unless it's scheduled, right? It's just because I value my time so much now. And I thought about what was distracting me, and when I was writing my book, the internet was distracting me. So I went to places anytime I was writing my book that did not have internet. And for the first couple times, I'm like logging on and there's no internet. I'm like, damn, there's no internet. I'm like, oh, that's why I'm here. So I got way more done. So it's all about figuring out how to disrupt your interruptions. If you don't have a plan to interrupt your interruptions, your plans will always be interrupted. Right? So that's how you have momentum, is you get in the zone, and it takes about 20 minutes to get in the zone. And when you're in the zone, you're 3 times more effective. What happens is people get in the zone, Austin, then they're interrupted by somebody, and then it takes 20 minutes to get back in the zone, but before they get 20 minutes, they're already interrupted. So they're never, ever working at their optimal capacity. If you want to be a game changer and want to leverage your time and crush it and maximize your efficiency, you have to always be working in the zone every day, because you can be 3 or 4 times more effective. Another key to momentum is a morning routine. Having a very solid morning routine that sets you up for massive success and executing on that every day is a game changer that I've gone through as well. And then, of course, energy, having the right foods in your body, making sure you eat things for vitality, not just for instant pleasure. Instant pleasure is killing people right now. So eat for vitality, eat for energy, not just instant pleasure, right? Make the tough decision in the moment. start getting green shakes, right? Do some wheatgrass. I'm eating healthier than I ever have, and I feel amazing. It's unbelievable health-wise. I don't drink hardly ever. Not that drinking's bad. I just don't like how it makes me feel sometimes. I'll have maybe one beer. I'll have some bourbon. And I do sometimes think in a whole different level when I'm drinking a tiny bit of bourbon. But I don't drink much, and I'm super healthy, and I protect my body. So that's a big thing because you're more creative, you're more aware, you're more intelligent, you're more assertive, you're more confident when you're healthier on your body. How you treat your mind is usually how you think and what you do, and how you treat your body is how you feel and what you look like, right? So take care of both of them as well. And morning routine's huge. Another big energy drain is people around you. People around you either make you feel exceptional or drag you down to their level. And if you're around insecure people, when you reach a higher level, their insecurity will try and pull you down because they feel more insecure when you're doing big things. You can't expect people to follow you when they don't represent the strength and courage that you have, right? You have to understand that. That's why I talk to people all the time. Get rid of toxic people. Yeah, but it's family. Yeah, of course, usually it is family. Yeah, but I've known him since, yeah, I know you have. But do you want massive success or do you not? You got to pick and choose. You can't have everything. You can't have every friend you've ever had since middle school, and you can't eat the worst food ever and enjoy instant pleasure and party all night and make millions. You can't do that. It's people just, they're living incongruently where they want, but their level of influence is a 4, but their goal is a 10. You can't do it.
I've just
seen that so much.
I tried to do it when I was building my first investing business, and here's what happened. Is I had to call 911, not once.
I keep finding out new things about you.
But twice. It's funny, I was featured in this book, and I shared that story, and my mom edited it, or my mom read the book, and she was like, I didn't know about this story about me having to call 911. Like, my body broke down because from trying to work and live a lifestyle and build this business on the side, and
going out,
make everybody
and
drinking and partying and trying to make everybody happy and not taking care of myself and my body. So it starts with some of the foundational, not only mindset but energy stuff that Peter's talking about, which is super important. So we've got 2 more questions, guys, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap up. This question is about being an introvert, and this is near and dear to my heart because I am definitely an introvert. How do you overcome being an introvert? I'm already making 6 figures, but I know I can make way more and be more, but I'm a very introverted person. Here's the thing, is I don't care if you're an introvert or not. What you need to do is find that creative outlet that's good for you. If you're an introvert, you probably enjoy writing in some way, shape, or form. If you enjoy writing, guess what? You can write a book and reach hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. You can write on a blog, all right? There's a lot of great online entrepreneurs that are hardcore introverts. Even some of the biggest names that, once you see them on stage and whatnot, you're like, that person's definitely not an introvert. Well, guess what? They are behind the scenes. It takes a lot of energy for them to be up on stage and be this personality. They much rather prefer building a team, creating content through the written ways. So you can do that. So don't have that be an excuse. But the other thing that I've found personally, how I've gone from, when I take the Myers-Briggs the first time, I was like hardcore introvert. Now I'm much more in the middle. And the way that I got there was by starting to share my message. And what I found is that by sharing my message, I was impacting lives. And by impacting lives, that gave me so much fuel that, you know what? Instead of reaching a couple thousand people here and a couple thousand people there, I want to reach 1 million people. What's it going to take to reach 1 million people? It's going to take me getting really good at video. It's going to take me putting myself out there. It's going to take me being around other people such as Peter, who are not introverted, who are pulling me up at least halfway to their level. Right? So being an introvert is just an excuse. It's just something that you're telling yourself. You can still reach potentially more people by just getting your message out there through email, through blogs, through written books, whatever it is. Right?
You use whatever you think is a weakness, you got to somehow find it and tweak it and use it as your strength, right? So I would get extroverts around you to do the things that you don't want to do, and you go all in on your genius. Like he said, figure out what your genius is, figure out what your unique ability is, and obviously use your unique ability, mix it with your passion, and solve a problem people care about. But if you don't want to be on stage and you want to be behind the scenes, I know plenty of 7- and 8-figure introverts. They're just around them, they have people that complement their weaknesses because that's their strength. So you want to find people around you and surround yourself with people that absolutely love and have mastered and are obsessed with what you are scared or don't want to do.
Yep.
That's what I've done.
Yep.
I can't edit a video. You could say, hey, I'll give you $1 million if you edit this video. I would have no clue what to do. I don't know how to edit a video. People will laugh at that, but I don't want to edit a video, right? Because I don't know how. I find people that do things that I really don't know how to do. Yep. So that's the key to business, is finding the right people and complementing your weaknesses with their strengths.
Yep.
What's
So yeah, find out what your excuses are. But guys, there's no hard sales pitch here.
No,
we haven't even talked about this. We put together some special bonuses with the six-figure author. So not only do you get that, do you get the mastermind and my support and extra bonuses and whatnot. But nonetheless, if you want to build an online branded business, if you want to become the next Peter Voogd, or at least try to, right? If you want to see the behind-the-scenes system that we've used with Peter's books, with his online brand, with his influence, with his different strategies that we're doing even today, well, we're inviting you to join us in the Six-Figure Author. We're taking applications, I think through Tuesday of next week if you're watching this live. So go to sixfigauthor.com/yes. There's some extra special bonuses that we're including. We're doing a discounted price. We're doing all these things because we want 100 more success stories. All right, we want success stories. Your success is our success. That makes our job easy. If we just shared, oh, I moved 1.7 million books around the world, guess what? That success that I've had makes it easy to get book launch clients if I wanted those, right? But I'm not taking on done-for-you clients right now. What we are doing is inviting so we can impact a lot more people. Come into the Six-Figure Author program.
That's it.
That's
yeah,
it. That's the hard sales pitch.
If you feel like, well, we don't, I didn't want to even bring, I mean, if you feel like you want to write a book and you have a book in you and you really want to be the next game changer, you have that hunger, or you don't feel like your intelligence matches your bank account, or you just have a desire to help people, you have a message that you want to share, or you have a message that you think needs to be out there and you don't know how to do it, you're overwhelmed, see if it's for you. It might not be for you. It's not for most people, to be very honest with you. But I mean, the only real risk is inaction. There's no risk really for you. Just check it out, see if it's for you. But I'm excited. You want to do one more question?
Yeah, one more
question. A little bit longer, but we're here for you guys. So I appreciate you guys. Everyone that shared, commented, liked, loved, hated, I appreciate all you guys.
Yep, and Peter, I'll tee this up for you. So if you had to start over, what business would you start online to earn $5,000 a month or more in the fastest way?
Yep, I wouldn't. That's the wrong mindset. And whoever asked that probably won't make money because it's not the right mindset. I don't want to make $5,000 fast as I possibly can in the business. I don't want to do that. I would not make $5,000 fast. I actually would probably make money in a slower way than I did because I want to make the right money, the right way, and play the long-term game where I don't make money, give up 5,000, give up 5,000, give up 5,000, give up 50,000, give up 100,000, and then make 20 million. So I don't know if I can answer that question. I wouldn't focus on that. I would just focus on figuring out who I really am, what are my unique gifts, what problems can I solve, who do I have the most passion to help, and I would just give without expecting anything in return. I would figure out how to articulate the problem. I'd figure out everything that I did. I made sure that it matched A, my values, B, it was scalable so I could travel because I love traveling, and I would continue doing that. And eventually I would be able to partner with big companies and they would obviously do a buyout, I'd exit, or I'd keep the company if I wanted to, but I would not focus on making 5,000 fast. Ask me that 3 years ago, I'd probably have an answer, but now I can't even conceptualize trying to make 5,000 as fast as I possibly could because it doesn't make sense.
It's a long-term
I'd probably just get a job and try to find a high paying job that pays like $500 an hour and just work for a couple weeks and then quit.
It's a long-term game, guys.
Yep.
If you are committed to the long term, if you want to build that legacy that we talk about, right? The Six-Figure Author, having a book is something that's timeless. It's an asset that, like I said, 2 years from now, I want to be chatting with you. Like 2.5 years ago, I chatted with Peter. We talked about sixfigauthor.com/yes. Thank you so much for the great questions. Lots of loves and likes. I love to see that. And check us out, man.
Hope you guys got some value, and I appreciate you guys. And remember, now matters more than ever. Don't be like most people who wait till tomorrow, next week. Anything you learn today that you know you should take action on, take some action. Don't wait because there's never a perfect time. Most people spend the first half of their life saying they're too young, and then they spend the second half saying they're too old. Don't be like most people, all right? I challenge you guys. I appreciate you guys. A lot more value coming your way. We look forward to connecting with you guys that are applied, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Awesome. 6figauthor.com/yes.
Peter and Austin checking out.
See you.